critical decisions loom large for high school graduates and those with responsibility over them. The trajectory has been a fairly straightforward line until now. Learning and more learning. Having completed high school, will the journey now lead to university? And if so, what field of study? Will it be technical training route, or will it perhaps be a direct leap into a job, if you're lucky, a dream job? To discuss how matriculants and parents can navigate their plans after high school, we're joined by Kobus Maree, Professor of Educational Psychology at the University of Pretoria. Professor, thank you so much for joining us. It is a very anxious time for matriculants right now as they wait for those results that will be released in January on the 19th. How should families be tackling this period right now as they wait for these results?
Thank you for having me. And thank you for allowing us to talk about this so important matter. Firstly, I would want to start off by saying that by now, at this stage, every one of you should have applied for a field of study, university, DVET college, University of Technology, private training institution. Now, let's just deal with the grade 12 outcomes first, maybe. If it turns out that you have not achieved the desired outcomes, don't feel that you have nothing to work for. Don't feel that you have reason to panic. Quite the opposite. There are many options available. Let's, for instance, say you no longer qualify for your engineering studies at a university. That is what you want to do. And let me just sound a caveat here. I hope, sincerely hope, all of you have received some kind of career counseling, career guidance, career education, call it what you wish. So you should know by now, for instance, I want to become an electrical engineer. University no longer is willing to accept me, then I might try the TVET college. I might try the University of Technology. I might try private training institutions, etc. But I urge each one of you to get in touch with somebody in the know. Maybe a teacher, life orientation teacher. Better still, if you are in a position to contact a counselor, a registered counselor, that would be ideal. Listen, we all deserve to be assessed fully at least once in our lives to tell us what our key life themes are, what we really want to do in life, what our interests are, which environments, work environments we will probably be happy and successful in. So take a step back, reflect, and note the following, please, and share it with everybody. There are multiple options available. I left out the matter of the seekers. So examine all the possibilities, but I plead with everybody, get some good counseling first, please, before you start feeling bad or start worrying. And by the way, let me just say something here that is very important to me. If you haven't achieved the desired outcomes this time, there will be multiple opportunities to achieve them. Have your papers reassessed, maybe redo a subject, maybe rewrite the exam, write supplementary exams. There are so many options, but get some guidance first. And you all are much better than I am at Googling. So just Google. You can go to my website. There is loads. There are loads of useful snippets of information that you can download for free. How to apply to a university, how to apply to a TVET college, what the differences are, how people with unemployment can apply for funding, etc. It's a treasure trove. It's not going to cost you anything. Please go there and help yourself to the treasure trove of wealth that you will find there.
You know, Prof, you have stressed the multiple options that are now out there, and as the world evolves, there are other avenues that you can explore which are not as traditional as previous options. I mean, when we look at specialized diplomas that people can go into renewable energy, into cybersecurity, into wind turbine services, that it's literally the world is your oyster.
The world is your oyster. Could not agree with you more. And you know and I know that the world evolves rapidly. that we live in uncertain times. So note the following, please. More important than choosing a field of study is choosing a field of study that will help you become employable. Don't try to find a job merely. You might be out of that job tomorrow. Get some good skills that will help you find employment because you're employable, because you will be employable 3 to 4 years down the line. And again, there you need some counseling. Go to those counselors. They really are very much in the know. And you've listed a few of these occupations that are available. There are zillions of them. Just go Google. Go to my website. Go Google. Just type in newest kinds of fields of study on the market, and it will come up with dozens and dozens and dozens. But please don't randomly select any field of study. Remember employability. Remember adaptability. You're going to have to adapt very rapidly now. And can I just slip in something here? I don't know if I'll get the opportunity. Whatever you're going to be doing, make sure that you do it to the best of your ability. And those of you that struggle, those of you that might not be able to be accepted and might not get accepted into the field of study of your choice, let me share a story with you. A number of years ago, the CEO of a big company had a cup of coffee at a convenience store next to a garage. And the chappie from a very poor environment that was actually attending to the gentleman did such a splendid job in making the CEO feel at home, converting his coffee experience into a memorable event that the CEO asked for more information about the person's life story. Turned out that guy came from a very, very poor, desperately poor environment. In the city, found a job, actually found 2 jobs. And he was able to cover his accommodation. He was able to send mom and dad, who were desperately poor, some money each month. And he was able to put away some money month after month. Fast forward, the CEO phoned me, says, "Kobus, will you please assist the guy? I will find the funding somewhere or I'll pay for it myself." Fast forward again. I assessed the person, and we decided on specialized IT training. That guy has now completed his IT degree. He's completing his further studies. He has landed a top job, and you know what? The world is queuing up to obtain his services. So there's always hope. There's always somebody. Whatever you do from this moment on, do your best. Don't compare yourself with others. Never. Be the best you there can be. And you will find these opportunities. They are there. Open yourself. Be willing to see them. They are there. Get in touch with me if you can, and I'll be happy to explain further.
Prof, just before I let you go, briefly, how do you advise matriculants who come to you to say, look, I hear you, you're saying there are all these options, but I'm extremely disappointed with my results. In fact, I'm feeling depressed, and my family is very upset, in fact, with how I've performed and expected me to do better. How do you advise a student who's in that predicament, who's trying to move forward, but the disappointment is overwhelming?
Of course we feel disappointment, but let's just normalize the situation. There is not a single person in the universe or in the history of humankind that does not feel disappointed themselves. We all disappoint ourselves from time to time. We all sometimes do not achieve the outcomes. That's normal, that's life. So take a step back emotionally. Reflect on what has maybe prompted you not to achieve up to your potential and try again. And if you're not sufficiently successful, try again. Come on. The first time you tried to tie your shoelaces, you did not succeed. Did you stop there? The first test you wrote, you might not have achieved 100%, maybe not even 90 or 80 or 70 or 60, and you tried again. So what we're seeing happen here is the most normal thing in the world. And you know what? I have a professor friend that always says, Any disappointment I regard as the best thing that has ever happened to me. Adopt that kind of attitude. The professor says, I had the time to reflect on my life, to consider what I might have done differently, to consider where I can improve, and the next time you attempt to write grade 12, to pass a subject, whatever, you will have learned so much from the experience that you will be in a better position to achieve the outcomes. Just note the following. We need action. Don't sit still and worry and feel disappointed. Phone a counselor if you need to talk with somebody. Do something, do something, do something. Magic happens when we move forward. I want to see movement. And a caveat again, if we repeat being lazy, not working up to our potential, then we're setting ourselves up not for failure. The word failure has no place in postmodern society. For achieving less successful outcomes than we are capable of. And let's be honest, we live in a very competitive world. There's no denying that. There is little room for people that just want to drift along, not apply themselves, not commit themselves. And let me just slip in something. If you can find yourself a counselor that will find out what the greatest pain is that you've ever suffered or experienced, I don't like the word suffer, that you survived, that person can help you decide what it is you want to do with your life, what your North Star is. So let me just explain, and then I'm done. For instance, if I was bullied as a youngster, I would want to help people that are being bullied. That will help me to heal them. That will help me to heal myself every time. Young women that feel pregnant is now, for instance, working with young women that feel pregnant outside of wedlock. So you can take your biggest pain, turn it into a victory, a triumph, and a social contribution. Because whatever we do, we don't live isolated lives inside us. We are there for other people as well. So what we do should also have a spin-off for society. And making a social contribution. Ask Dr. Nelson Mandela one day when you meet him in heaven what his recipe for success was. Making a social contribution, converting his pain, the suffering he had, into a victory and to a social contribution. And Dr. Nelson Mandela attained the Nobel Prize for his efforts. Doesn't get better.
Yeah. Well, wise words coming from you there, Prof. Thank you so much for your time. That was Kobus Maree, Professor of Educational Psychology at the University of Pretoria.